We interrupt our program to bring you a special broadcast.
Boom! Headshot!
Hey, it's Clay. Welcome to another League of Legends video. This is another Why Buy. This time we're going to be focusing on Gragas. He is something else, this crazy, weird, fat man, Celtic dude, just drinking a ton of booze. He's just a gigantic drunkard and a glutton. But he also makes for a heck of a mid laner. Also pretty viable in the top lane too, but we'll get into all that soon enough. So Gragas, let's talk about him. He is something else. I picked him up actually recently. I was inspired to pick him up when I saw him played in the LCS by Skara and Voyboy. Skara in the mid lane, Voyboy in the top lane, and he was used to really high regard as my jungler Lee Sin gets totally stunk on there by the enemy invade. Whoopsie daisy. It's just sadness. Gonna give my opponent Karthus into the lead, but I actually just got done with this game and it was super fun, and I immediately wanted to cast it and just talk about Gragas, because he is something else. So let's go ahead and get into his abilities and talk about what makes him so sweet and awesome and fun to play. His passive, Happy Hour, this gives him fantastic sustain. Basically, anytime you cast a spell, you gain 2% of your health back. It is a really, really great passive. It gives him fantastic sustain. If you think about a lot of mid laners, they're generally pretty squishy and pretty incapable of sustain. So you need to buy pots, you need to buy crystalline flasks, all that good stuff. But with Gragas, you actually have a little bit of sustain. You're going to be spamming your spells quite often, and so having this as a passive really helps you to stay in lane. It also incentivizes you to build a little bit of health onto Gragas, just so that you can get a little bit of extra healing, because it is 2% of your max health. Therefore, if you build more health, you'll get more healing. So overall, a very, very fantastic passive, I would say. Makes him very naturally sustaining. Now his Q, this is your bread and butter. This is his barrel roll. Basically, it is a long-range detonation ability. If you have played Lux, it works similarly to her E, where basically you cast it out. There, I just threw one out, and then you hit Q again to detonate it. And you can actually let it sit there for a couple of seconds. I believe something like 5 seconds before it will automatically detonate. Overall, this is a really, really powerful ability. It is definitely your bread and butter. You can use it to farm, you can use it to harass your enemies, you can use it to poke. Very versatile, very powerful. It has a huge AP scale ratio. I want to say it's like 0.9, which is absurdly high for a scaling ability power. I want to say that most AP ratios are somewhere along lines of like 0.6, I would say, is a very standard AP ratio for some sort of skill. I'm actually getting kind of low here by Karthus. Gonna dive in there. Not so sure if that was smart. He's gonna flash and ooh, wow, it gets me really low, down to 21 HP. Whoa, yikes! I actually did not realize how low I had just gotten. But gonna throw one more barrel roll here. This minion wave. Just try to get a little bit more CS before I go back and heal up. So let's go ahead and talk about his W next. This is a Drunken Rage. It basically is a giant buff. It gives you mana, it gives you extra attack damage, it gives you reduces damage that comes in. I mean, it just does a whole lot of things. It has no cost, and it's a really, really... when you combine this with his passive, it gives you almost infinite sustain for both health and mana, which is really, really great. It's a fantastic, like I said, Gragas has fantastic sustain, and it is partly because of his passive and partly because of this ability. So overall, a really good skill. It has no cost, and it gives you a bunch in return. Basically, you just want to spam this anytime it is up. There's really no reason not to. It helps you from going out of mana. You also don't need to, like I went with boots and 3 health pots. You don't necessarily need to go with something like crystalline flask in this game. Or you get a bunch of health pots. You just pretty much pound it anytime you want. So overall, very strong, and I believe with a little bit of cooldown reduction, you can actually have the buff up infinitely, which gives you... Ooh, Karthus is getting really low. Can I get one more Q off on him? It looks like I might dive him. Let's see here. One more Q. There's an E. One more Q. There's an Ignite. Can I throw out a Q? There's the Q. Boom. Nice. So picking up the first kill for my team. Really happy with that. That brings us also to the E. You saw that little shuffle that I did earlier. That's called Body Slam. Basically, it is a little bit of a mini charge blink type of ability, where he charges forward and then will do physical and magic damage upon arrival. Really interesting set of abilities here. You can use it. You can almost spam it. It has extremely short cooldown for this type of a blink. You can use it to get over some walls, which is very, very useful, and you can use it to, attack Also, there is a slow attached to units that you hit, so it's also very good for offense. In that regard, as I see Lee Sin coming in here for a ganky gank on my Lee Sin, a bunch of blind monks just fighting each other with a bunch of blindness. There goes a Q, and I totally whiffed on it. Not really sure if too much is going to happen here. Might try to E after him. Let's just see what happens. I'm going to just chill here in this bush with my man Gangplank as Lee Sin face checks this. Not such a good idea. There's an E onto him. Going to slow him. Going to get some more auto attacks. Auto attacks. Nice. Good job by Gangplank to get the kill there. Getting a little bit low. Got to throw out a Q if it comes off cooldown. Get one more W. Good job by Gangplank. Nice job on my team. Lee Sin did end up going down, but that's okay. Oh, look at that card. This hold is going to get Gangplank really low. So yeah, Body Slam, really good for mobility. Good on offense, good on defense. You pretty much can spam it because it is such a short cooldown and relatively low mana cost. It's a really great ability. It helps him to be really mobile. You know, when you think about, like, he just has this interesting mix. You know, his passive and his W gives him great sustain. His Q gives him great damage, great poke. His E gives him great mobility. Just has a ton of interesting things to his kit. Lastly, his ultimate, Explosive Cask. This is, I think, one of the funnest ultimates that I have yet to encounter in League of Legends to this point. As I missed that siege minion there, that was a total derp. But basically, it does two things. Number one, it does high damage, and number two, it will have a big knockback. And basically, the best way to think about it is that it has a relatively large blast radius, and then everything from the center outwards of that blast radius is exploded away. So basically, if there's an enemy in front of you and you are chasing them, if you throw this explosive cast ahead of them, it will actually knock them backwards. Similarly, if they're chasing you and you want to knock them away, you can throw it between you and them, and it will actually knock them away from you. So if you use the cursor, if you don't smart cast it, which I would kind of recommend not smart casting this ability just because it's kind of nice to be precise. So you just keep track of the center of your reticle and then figure that everything will explode away from it. So anytime it comes out, I'll try to point it out. There it was right there, and actually totally whiffed. Oh, that was a huge derp on my part. Let's go ahead and watch that one more time, and I'll just talk about what I was thinking about trying to do. So what I wanted to do was land the explosive cast to knock Karthus back towards Lee Sin. And if you'll see here, I totally overshoot it. Boom, way too far away. He moves into me just at the wrong moment, and we totally derp there. So that was a big-time mistake, because that would have been a totally successful gank if I could have knocked Karthus right into my Lee Sin. So definite failure there on my ulti. But I did land some better ultimates later on in this game, as Karthus just wants more. He might get me. Yes, he does end up getting me, but I think I'm going to end up... Oh, what is going to happen here? Is Lee Sin going to pick this up? He's in trouble. Yes, he does, but then I think he falls. Yep, that's too bad. So Karthus picks up a nice double kill there. Pretty derpy on my part, just really failing with my ulti, but I'll try to point it out in the future if I do land some nice ones. So those are his abilities. He's got a really nice mixture, like I said, of he's just got a little bit of everything. He's got some tankiness, with his W provides him some damage reduction. He's got some sustain with his passive and his W. He's got some nice damage and poke with his Q, and also his R is really nice damaging, and also it also provides you with some really interesting knockback mechanics, which are really cool. This Karthus, he just wants to get up close on me. But yeah, like I said, he's got one of the most interesting skill sets, I would say, for a lot of the AP mids. And he's a little bit tankier, which is really nice, I would say, that it's really, really handy to have that little bit of extra sustain. My ultimate is off cooldown. I wonder if I use it here. But overall, his gameplay is extremely viable, and he can be built in a lot of different directions, just because he can do so many different things. He can be more of a tank, he can be more of a mage, he can be more... I want to say it's even viable to build him AD. His W gives him bonus attack damage, and his E scales off of attack damage, so I do think it's possible. Here we go in on Karthus. Let's see if I can land an ultimate. There's the ultimate right there. Okay, so right there was very interesting. I actually... let's watch that one more time. This is a really good example of using my ultimate properly. Boom, there's a nice job. Now, right here, I'm just going to pause it right now. You can see Lee Sin's coming in, and he's close to the turret. The turret is aggroed to him, so what I want to do is knock Lee Sin towards the turret. And Karthus is, because I'm inside of his defile, and he's going to be laying waste at my feet, I want to knock him away. So I'm going to put my ultimate right in the middle of them, and you can see what happens. Boom. Exactly what I wanted. Knock Lee Sin into the tower, knock Karthus away to give me that extra space to just barely get away with 25 HP. picking up the kill on the Lee Sin. So that worked out really well. That was a really effective use of my ultimate, I would say. Much better than the first time around. So overall, you know, you can just see how effective he can be. Right here, I'm not that scared of Darius because I can just waddle away with my body slam. Gonna drop a ward. I'm tired of people coming through that, try that little river bush area. Just using my Q to farm. I actually use my Q to farm a lot. It's pretty much his primary farming tool, especially when you build up some mana. In terms of itemization, this game I went for a Rod of Ages first. I would say that's pretty core on Gragas. Gives you health, it gives you mana, it gives you AP, all the things that you really want. You can also go for a Tear of the Goddess build into a... I'm not even sure exactly what it's called that it builds into, but that thing that it would eventually build into that's AP based. Lee Sin's coming in. I might ult him again, getting knocked back. There's an ulti to knock him away. It wasn't perfect. If I could have knocked Lee Sin into my tower again, that would have been better, but with 3 guys diving me, I thought it would be nice to just kind of get him off my back. But it looks like they want some more. Pretty bad Q there. But yeah, talking about build, Rod of Ages I would say is pretty core. After that, I'd like to go for Rabadons, just because I prefer to build Gragas as a bit more of a mage, just because he has such fantastic AP scaling ratios. I mean, 0.9 on his Q is absurdly high. I want to say let's check out what his ultimate is. 100% AP scaling on his ultimate, 50% AP scaling on his E, so he's very well scaled with ability power. So building up a Rabadons is a really nice choice. I also really like Deathfire Grasp on Gragas, just because he's got a surprising amount of burst. As you can see here, we're getting Karthus really low. Can I land him Q? What am I even doing? I'm not even paying attention to him. He's so low. Come on, do something. No, I'm a little low too, and I'm a little bit low on mana as well, and my ultimate's not up, so it looks like Gangplank is going to go diving in, body slam, picking up the kill there. Nice job. Ulti by Karthus. Ooh, that's going to take out Gangplank. But using my body slam to pick up the kill there. So good job by Gangplanking myself to make sure we secure the kill on Karthus. He's actually off to a pretty good start. 5-5, 68 CS, but I'm staying ahead of him at 72. You can see I just finished my Rod of Ages. For boots, I actually really like to go for Ionian boots cooldown. I think cooldown reduction is really good on Gragas. His Q at max rank has a 7-second cooldown, so getting that down even lower to about 4 or 5 seconds is really helpful. Just because it has so many different uses. Using my ulti there, getting a turret shot off, gonna throw a Q out, wait for it. Ooh, missed, but just auto-attacking, body slamming, boom, there's the kill onto my main man, Karthus. You know, I've kind of made his day a little bit tricky here. Just was off to a good start at the beginning of this game. Using my body slam to get that minion. Oh, I actually missed those. That stinks. But yeah, in terms of build, let's see here. A Rod of Ages into Rabadons into Deathfire Grasp. Zhonya's is a really nice choice as well, just because it allows you to get into the middle of the action. Void Staff, I'd say, is pretty key to give you that magic penetration. You know, Sork Shoes are also quite viable, give you some magic penetration if you don't feel like the cooldown reduction is really up your alley. Personally, I'm kind of in love with cooldown reduction as of late. It's actually a statistic that I really enjoy. Ever since I was playing Lux on her free week, I just kind of fell in love with CDR, just because it really gives you a little bit, you just get more damage, you can spell that a little bit more, but sometimes there's a bit of a trade-off because you don't have quite as much raw damage output, because you're relying a little bit more on sustained damage rather than just getting pure burst raw damage. Now, one key thing about Gragas, you can see my Q there. Boom, there if you watch, I actually waited to detonate my Q until Karthus got in range. People actually will forget about Gragas' Q after you throw it right away. So again, leave it. Hopefully, maybe Karthus will get back in range and I can pop it off on him. If not, that's okay. There's really no waste there. But getting used to his Q, I would say, is probably one of the things that is most important with Gragas, just because it's a little bit different. That cast detonate mechanic, it's a very slow projectile. It just takes a little bit of getting used to, I would say. And it's a little bit different. Getting a nice Q there off onto Karthus. You just want to be a pest with it. You can use it to poke. Oh man, I really missed my ulti there. Karthus has been dodging all of my ultimates. Right when I think that it's safe to and I totally would have got the kill there if I would have knocked him back. That's too bad. I've had some good ones and some bad ones, I'll say. In retrospect, not all of my Qs were so hot. getting a nice shot on their minion waves. It's really nice when your Q gets to the point where you can one-shot minion waves. Oh, he's getting so low. Throw out a Q. There's the cube. Oh, he's so low. He's so low. If only Ezreal had his ultimate. But we're going to go in on Zyra here and get a Q. Nice. Really well coordinated there between Ezreal and myself to get his burst along with my Q. And that's another thing too. Because the Q is so slow, you have to really lead your targets. So it's really nice if you get them low and you've got them on the ropes and there's only one direction for them to run. You just lead it ahead of them a little bit and detonate right when they walk over top. That's probably one of the most essential elements of playing Gragas is landing those Qs. Because the thing about Gragas is because he's so, if you think about a champion like Ryze or Brand, a lot of their spells are all kind of the same. They're all kind of like mid-rangey. They're all the same distance, and they can really chain their combos together. With Gragas, it's pretty much all about landing your Q. I think that's probably why the AP scaling is so high, is because when your Q's on cooldown, or if you miss it, you're pretty much chucks out of luck. There's not a lot of forgiveness there. There's not a lot of it's a challenge to really make sure that you're landing those Qs. And I'm just gonna sit and take this damage from Karthus for no good reason. But yeah, you got to make sure that you're landing your Qs. They're really core to his kit. And so getting used to the timing, the leading, the detonation mechanic, all that stuff is really important with Gragas. But if you can get good with it, he can be really devastating. Like I said, he's got that high AP scaling ratio. He's naturally tanky. He's got lane sustain. He's really got a lot going on. He's got a lot of upside, I would say. And I would say that there's a reason why he's been so popular. Because he really does not, I mean, just trying to think of some negatives or some downsides. I mean, he's got mobility with his E to escape or to attack. He's got some really nice damage. He's got some nice utility. He's even got CC on his ultimate. I mean, he can do so many things for your team. And he's not squishy. He's not, some squishy burst mage that needs to be babysat or needs to be really careful. He's still capable of putting out a lot of damage. I would say, he is skill shot reliant. I would say his R and his Q are not easy spells to land. Gonna get a nice ulti right there, cause him to burn a flash. Then we get a Q off, throw the Q. Oh, she's just gonna let Nidalee take care of it as she falls to the tower. That's too bad. But yeah, I guess I would say that Gragas is a little bit more complicated to learn. And if you're having a hard time landing his spells, you're really not going to do any damage. That's just as simple as that. You have to land his spells to do damage. So that's probably what I would say about Gragas, is that his negative is that his spells are not easy to land. There definitely is a bit of a learning curve and a little bit of a skill cap. But just take a look at that, just how quickly he can just demolish a whole minion wave with one Q. As my team's getting into a fight, and I'm just kind of chilling over here, farming out this wave like a boss. But I'm excited to finally join him. My build is coming together. I got a Rod of Ages built, and I'm heading towards a really nice Q there off on Misfortune. Nice spear by Nidalee. Heading towards a Rabadon's Death Cap. And this is a situation where Gragas is extremely good, and he synergizes really well with Nidalee, because he's got great poke with his Q. Sieging this turret is really nice, getting just little bits of damage, just bit by bit of damage, just to kind of just throw these guys back. Really nice ultimate to knock Darius out of the way. Not sure if it's going to do anything. If we had a minion wave, oh my gosh, if that spear would have landed. Getting a nice Q and picking up the kill on Karthus. Nice job. I'm in a little bit of trouble. Gonna go ahead and flash and use my body slam to get out of there. Bring another Q on Misfortune. So this is gonna turn this fight around. And they're gonna go down. Can I get a Q off? Wait for it. Boom! Double kill. Nice job on the Q there. Really nice chain of events there by my team. Let's see if they can pick up the kill there onto Lee Sin. Somebody get the kill. Oh, what a spear by the Nidalee. Wow, that crazy cougar just landing those spears like a boss. That was nice. So we're just going to use this turret. A really nice ace there. Some really well-chained skills, I would say, between Nidalee and myself. We got a lot of range. We got a lot of ability to really push these sieges. I think that we have a fantastic team fight. Ezreal's got nice poke. Gangplank's got his global. I've got really nice poke. Nidalee's got nice poke. Even though when you throw your Qs out at an empty Wraith camp, it doesn't do anything. It looks like they're pinging Baron. I'm actually going to try to distract here in this mid lane. I feel like my damage is not as necessary as Greg, because there's a lot of guys here. I want to draw them to myself. I don't want them to think my team is doing dragon. I'm just going to try to keep them away with Qs. Ooh, and I almost landed that nice spear by Nidalee. Support Nidalee, building AP. Pretty OP. Now watch this right here. Misfortune's get out of position. Body slam. Auto attack. And nice. Getting a kill there. Oh, I'm out of mana. That's why I wasn't throwing out my ulti. I was waiting. That would have been a perfect position to throw my ulti. Knock Misfortune back in this direction away from her team. But missed that opportunity. So finishing my Rabbit Ends, getting another needlessly large rod. Assumedly, I'm going to turn that into a Deathfire Grasp. Just going to enter in another T-Fight. There's an ultimate and a Q. Body slam, auto attack, body slam, kill. Nice. So again, my ultimate setting up that situation right there onto Zyra and Misfortune. Anytime you catch them out of position, you got to make them pay. And your ultimate is a fantastic way to do that. It's really cool, and once you kind of figure it out, once you figure out where you want to put it down, throwing some cues out there, once you figure out where you want to position it and where you want it to be, you know, it can be really effective. And I'm kind of pinging at my team saying, why are we fighting? Why are we not? You know, there's 3-on-2 right here. I realize that there may be more members of the enemy team, but this is a spot where we should be pushing. Getting a Q, getting a body slam. I get my ulti's on cooldown actually, but I'm just gonna push Gragas back, or with Karthus back with some auto attacks. Getting a nice Q there on the minion wave and Darius. But just shows you how effective Gragas can be with Siege. Getting another nice Q there. You know, like I said before, landing these Qs is so essential. Another thing I want to point out, if you take a look at my stats right now, I have 189 attack damage when my W is procced, which is pretty much non-stop. And 413, almost ended that Q. 413, there's the ulti onto Karthus there. I knew that he should have died. Just was itching to get that kill. But look at these stats, 189 attack damage, 413 AP. So, I mean, you really are, you know, effective at melee range. That's something to keep in mind with Gragas, is that you can do a lot of auto attack damage. Getting another Q off on Misfortune, getting another kill with some really nicely landed Qs. I mean, this definitely was a game where I was landing my Qs, and it just shows you how effective they can be, doing a ton of damage. Nidalee getting a nice kill and then getting shut down by Lee Sin. He's just going to run away. We're going to chase after him, but we're not going to find him. Just going to go farm out this wave with one big Q, some body slams. I think I'm about ready to get my Deathfire Grasp, getting one more minion wave. There's the Deathfire Grasp. Just got to remember to use that active. I know that I'm guilty of forgetting it from time to time, but so here we are, just pushing this lane again. Our team's got a nice lead, pounding that W as often as I can. There's really no reason not to. But here we are. Our team is pushing together quite nicely. Gonna take out this plant by Zyra. She's got those crazy plants. And see if I can land some here on... Oh, good, I don't even know what his ability is called, but that escape by Lee Sin to shield his friend and get away. A little Q there, but that was a really nice job by him to get out of the way, because he lost my Q with definitely ruin his day. Probably set myself up for an R to knock him out of position. As we pick up the turret, and we're just continuing to siege. Gragas is excellent with sieging. Getting a Q there right in the middle of that team. You can see these guys all getting chunked down. Ulti into body slam. Can I get a Q? There's a Q. I'm picking up another kill on the Misfortune. This Gragas, he is something else. Like I said, when you're landing those Qs, they are so sweet. It's so much fun. Just pounding those Ws, getting my health back. You can just see how much my health is regenerating there. Because I do have a fair almost 3,000 HP. Feeling really good about that. Just going to do some more sieging on this turret. Getting a nice Q there. Use my body slam to get back into position. We're just going to continue the siege. Getting a nice barrel there off onto Darius. It's got to be disheartening when you are, anytime you enter a battle, all of a sudden you get hit by this stupid exploding barrel, and all of a sudden your health is down a quarter. I mean, that's got to be obnoxious. But that's one of the nice things, getting a nice Q there onto Karthus. I mean, just look how chunked he is. Setting it up for Ezreal, get that kill, body slam. Okay, actually don't even, I know what happened. I used my, boom, double kill, but I'm a little bit out of position, use my flash, and oh, Zyra, good job. Good job by Zyra. I should have probably body slammed there if I could have, but I messed it up there. But anyways, on Karthus, I think I used the active on my Deathfire Grasp as well as Ignite. I'm pretty sure that was how I managed to secure that kill, if I remember correctly. there's my Gragas. Let's get that camera back on him. So again, remembering to use that active on that Deathfire Grasp, you cannot underestimate it, and it's best at the beginning of your combo because it gives you that 20% increased magic damage, which is absolutely absurd. Getting Lee Sin out of position, using my ulti to knock it back. Q, body slam. Oh, he does get it. Oh, I really want to dive onto him, but Nidalee's actually... Oh, I can't do it. Can't quite get in range and to bomb out a Q, especially with his fortune coming back in the lane. Oh man, if that Nidalee Spear would have hit Lee Sin, that would have been GG for him getting a nice Q there off on Misfortune. Just take a look at how much it's chunky. Just chunky chunk. Karthus, oh, nice job by Nidalee and Lee Sin. Let's see here. Now they're chasing. Can use my E to dodge that. There's a Q, and he's getting low, and I think I can actually enter back into this fight. My ulti's not on cooldown, but my Q's back. My E is back. Ooh, there's actually, that's pretty scary. Darius would pretty much crush me right now, but Gangplank is back in, so I'm going to try to support him a little bit. We're getting chunked down by those Zyra plants. That's no good. But I'm gonna body slam. Gonna try to cut off his method of escape with my Q. There's an ultimate to knock him back into Nidalee, and boom, nice job by Nidalee to pick up the kill there. But I'm pretty weak, and I think at this point I'm gonna go down. They didn't end up picking the kill up on Zyra. There's pretty hard to escape Nidalee, just because she's pretty darn fast. So they're picking up a Void Staff, getting down to the end of my build, building tons of AP. You know, other than my Rod of Ages, I really didn't build that defensively, but it is viable to build Gragas as more of a tank. Something like an Iceborne Gauntlets, I believe. Ooh, nice job there. Let's go ahead and watch this one more time as we catch Darius out of position. A little bit laggy there, but let's see what happens. My skill set, Body Slam, ulti, Q. There's another body slam and helping Gragas pick up the kill, or wow, Gangplank pick up the kill. Totally nice job, Gangplank, picking up these kills. But I'm taking assists, and I'm okay with that. Up to 10 assists now, 14, 2, and 10. So I'm really had my hand in a lot of these team fights. That's 24 of the 42 kills, so about half of them I've been involved in. Feeling pretty good about that. And we're just sieging these towers. This game is pretty much out of reach. We have been doing quite well, and just kind of shows you how versatile Gragas can be. Laning, ooh, getting another ulti on Misfortune. Is she really going to get away? No, she's not, but I am going to go down because turrets are overpowered. Oh yeah, that's one of the things that I remember that I forgot to talk about is I would say that Gragas' main weakness is probably his early laning phase. It wasn't too bad against Karthus just because Karthus is relatively passive early on in lane. Getting a nice ulti there off in the middle of things, and going to try to get in on Karthus. Going to turn back onto Lee Sin, get some auto attacks and a body slam for the kill. Going to throw a Q to cut off Karthus' method of escape and help Gangplank get another kill. Let's see, Misfortune's running. There goes the Q of death. Gangplank, nice job, buddy. That Karthus ult got us all pretty low, but you know, I would say that Gragas can have a hard time in lane, especially if you're going against a ranged mage. They can really, because your only range spell is your Q, and you're going to run out of mana if that's your only method of farming. Because he has a melee AP carry, which is a little bit weird and strange. So I would say that his main downside is probably that he's melee and that he is going to have a little bit harder time early on in lane. But other than that, I would say Gragas can be, and he does have skill shots that you need to land. But as you can see in this game, when you're landing your Qs, I'm going to throw out my R there as kind of a troll, and he gets the dunk but misses. I'm going to body slam, get the ace, get the troll pick right as the game. That's Gragas, went 16, 3, and 13, 252 minion kills. Led the game, led our team to the victory there. And just kind of shows you how powerful Gragas can be. If you are landing those Qs, landing those Rs, being smart, using your passive and your W for that lane sustain, getting through the early parts, I would say, till about level 6, you need that ultimate to give yourself a chance. But once you get some of those items going, he can be a real monster. And he's really effective. I also would really recommend trying him in top lane because, then you're going to go up against a lot of other melee champions, and you've got the bulkiness and the sustain to go toe-to-toe with them. So I think top lane, he's also quite viable. But in the mid lane, he presents a real challenge, you know, because he can survive burst from a lot of the burst mages, and he's a lot tankier, so he can, you know, really dish back the damage if they're bringing it onto you. But overall, that's Gragas. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you're thinking about buying him, I would definitely recommend picking him up. And then take a look at that Esquire Gragas skin. It's pretty sweet. I think I'm probably going to buy that soon. But hope you guys enjoyed this. I will see you again soon.